Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. I know that I'm late posting this, and I know that it is dark. My friend is here, and it is taking everything in me to sit before you and do this because I don't want to let this linger on and it just never happens. I want to go ahead and get it done. Also, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but I just want to give y'all a heads up. I have something on me, and at times there is a possibility that y'all will see skin. It won't be nudity in a sense where this video would need to be taken down or banned, but I have this that I have sitting on my stomach right here, and I have had it on me for the last like 30 minutes. I just remembered it. I was like, I bought this for this purpose. So since my friend is visiting, this is something that I'm putting on myself to kind of help it along. And I just pulled my shirt down. So hopefully that'll kind of help with the possibility of the nudity or whatever, even though it's not that deep. I'm just saying. But just be mindful, my hand is probably going to be right here, or I'm going to be like this. And I'm trying to stay warm and everything at the same time. So yeah, y'all. Anyway, let me go ahead and get to this recap review. So this episode started where it left off last time with Letitia and her cousin Kiki having it out, and basically Tisha feels like you keep bringing up the past, and I'm not understanding why you're bringing something up, but then trying to make it seem like it's my fault and I have the problem. But I've moved forward. I've already apologized to you several times. We've been on the phone for hours at a time. We cried. We went out to have like a lunch date, hashed it out some more. Like, we hashed it out several times. I don't understand why you got to keep bringing this up. And so Kiki kept talking about, we got to move past this, and we got to do this, and we got to do that. And Letitia was like, no, you got to figure out what you got to do to move forward, because I don't live in the past. I don't go back in the past. I don't bring up stuff from the past. That's you. So I don't understand. I just don't understand why you would sit up there and bring me up at a Christmas party to someone who I don't deal with and who doesn't deal with me, who has ill will towards me, who has tried to defame my marriage, all this other stuff. They defame me, my character, my husband's character, all of this. Like, why would you do this? And so she was just still continuously repeating that she was basically hurt by the fact that she brought up her issues. And again, I'm like, what are the issues? And people keep saying that it was bed bugs or roaches or something like that. And I'm like, what was it? Because she seemed like she's still very hurt by whatever it was. So again, they parted ways. Nothing has been resolved. Anyway, we end up seeing Martell rolling up to Scolt so that he can talk to Marceau. And so he was reminding him of how everything used to be and that they used to work well together. And if nothing else, Martell, he truly seems to be great business wise when it comes to, let me say, the part of when it comes to mason work and, stuff like that, building. And so he was like, I can agree with that. And so he wanted to know if he could buy back in to Scope, because you know that it is their last names combined. And so he was like, well, I am no longer, or I am not the majority shareholder. So I would have to talk to Tisha, because she is the majority shareholder, about it. And so Martell was like, okay, so if you were to be the one who could have a say, like, just for kicks and giggles, like right now, just thinking back on our history and what I've been able to bring to the company and all this other stuff, like, would you actually say yes right now to a partnership, or at least, seeing, doing like a little trial run, something? And so he was like, I mean, to be honest, yeah. And, Scope would not have been what it is had it not been for him, because like I said, both of their last names are in it. And so he was like, I'm gonna go talk to my wife about it. I can't tell you how she might feel or what she might think, because he kind of wanted him to be like, well, what you think Tisha gonna say about it? And I'm like, child, mm-mm. But before they even got to that part, of course, he brought up the book signing and all that stuff. He was like, Marceau was trying to act like he was like, what? When he told him that the kids weren't there. And I was just like, but it wasn't his week though. Like, y'all know how messy things have been, or at least that's what y'all have portrayed it to be. So why would you think that doing something or setting up something deliberately on a week that you don't have the kids, but she does, is going to go over well? I'm not understanding the logic. And yeah, I mean, I get where maybe she could bend, but as I've said before, I feel like Martell is one of those people that if you bend one time, he gonna think that this is what's gonna be a norm, and he gonna be like, well, but you remember that one time you like, and ain't nobody got time for you to just bring up what somebody did over and over again. Also, within their conversation, he was letting Martell know that Destiny was still talking about those sweets again, and that might be the perfect opportunity for him to be able to show that he would work well with him. But at the same time, they did part ways for a reason. But there's just a lot of stuff to iron out, and he gonna have to go and talk to Tisha about it. Y'all, so moving right along, we end up seeing Maurice and Kimmy at the house, and they have a nice home theater. I'm here for it. Maurice was putting up a TV mount, and she was here for it because when they first got together, like at the beginning of their relationship, he used to be very, very hands on, used to always be fixing stuff and all of that. And so she was here for it. It was turning her on. Like, it was to the point they both was talking about it in the confessional and all that. I'm like, girl, I know that's right. So anyway, they were talking, and she ended up telling him about how she was just chilling, minding her business when Tisha called her, and she was distraught, talking about everything that happened at Black between herself and her cousin and all of that. And it's just a mess. And so she's just not understanding why all this is going on, and it's just too much. And despite the fact that it was brought up, it's like it's a lot going on. So anyway, they talked about that a little bit, and then they don't want to hear talking about the setup again, and he hasn't finished yet. He over here talking about she needs to basically pay him in sex. And I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all are a mess. So anyway, moving right along, we end up seeing Destiny meet up with Maurice. And so she wants to meet up with him so that she can discuss some different things so that she can get her finances straight, because she has kind of been in financial ruin since everything happened in her divorce. She has been living off of savings, and she had to dip into her savings at one point in time to pay a lot of stuff and use credit cards and all that stuff. At one point in time when she was trying to, solicit the help of people to run Madani, that ended up being a very pricey situation. And since she does not have anything else coming in, it was just strictly her relying on what her ex-husband was going to give her, and public assistance, if you will. Like, not PPP loans, actual public assistance. So yeah, she's not able to really do much of anything. She wants to get everything back in order so that she can refinance her home. She just wants to get all this stuff back to the way it needs to be so that she can do certain things. And so she literally can't even use her business as collateral to, help do anything. And so it's just sitting there, and it's been closed a lot more. It seems like it's been closed more than it's been open, and she's been taking care of her child. He's not that old. Law is not that old. So it's like she's trying to be a present mom. And even though she's had moments where we've seen on the show that she's brought him to work with her, it's like you can't be there and, have all of your attention on that and all of your attention on the baby at the same time. It's too much. So Maurice was trying to help her understand that you're going to have to figure out another way to bring this money in so that this building is just not sitting there. And so she was like, well, I actually was getting your brother on board with building like 15 suites so that I can have, additional money coming in like that. And it was going to be money being made whether the store was open or not. So they're going to have to get on board with that. And it's just it's just a lot. And he was just like blown away by the fact that she was on public assistance. Then she was talking about how she wasn't able to have anyone to talk to. A lot of stuff is going on with her, and she wasn't even able to talk to Melody. The last time they had a conversation, it didn't go over well. And she was just like, look, I thought she was my friend, and when we went to the reunion, certain things were said, and then she got upset, talking about I was talking to the enemy, who is Tisha. And it's crazy because I needed something recently, reached out to her, couldn't get her on the phone, and I called Tisha. And he was like, well, was Tisha there for you? And she was like, yes. And so at this point, it's like, even though you're saying that you've known Melody longer, which is basically because you were friends with her husband first and then y'all became friends, and y'all's friendship actually started to blossom after the both of y'all were going through divorces, and you became a mother, so you were going to be able to relate to her even more about the struggle of being a parent and all this other stuff, a single parent at that, essentially. Well, I'm saying single, y'all know what I mean. For her, single parent, because I don't know if she gets help, I don't know. Anyway, someone who doesn't have a significant other that is in the home with you 24 hours a day whenever they're not at work, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, she just feels alone. And despite the fact that they talked all this out, as if she was talking to a stranger. And it's strange to her that she was like, oh, you over here talking to my ops, but the person who is the ops, you over here talking about I'm talking to the ops and I'm talking to my enemy and all this other stuff. When you weren't available, you're never available. I'm trying to talk to you. I gotta call you, text you, and you still haven't said anything. So who else am I supposed to talk to when I thought you were my friend? Like, she got emotional and all of that. So he was trying to encourage her to just continue trying to forge relationships that are, that are there. Because at this point, there's no reason for her to even try to be friends with her anymore. Well, Marcel went and was talking to Letitia about bringing on Martell, and ultimately she was like, at this point, no. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to think smart. All the drama that has come out, all of this stuff that has, like, there's just so much stuff that comes along with dealing with him. And what I forgot, and I kept trying to remember what it was I was forgetting. Within the conversation, Martell was talking about how he was gonna have a tasting in Atlanta and wanted to know if he was gonna come and all this other stuff. And he was like, I don't know about all that. Like, the way he was sounding, it sounded like it was gonna be kind of boring and not that great, because he was like, oh, a guy's trip, but he was like, no. So he was like, oh, let's go to lounge clubs or whatever. And so he was like, oh, I don't know about all that. That sounds too much like a guy's trip. And so he was like, myself and Tisha, we trust each other. So I can go to a lounge and my wife ain't got to worry about what I'm doing. And I'm saying to myself, sir, you can lie to yourself all you want, and she can lie to herself all she want. Like, the fact that she has to trick you into going to therapy and all this other stuff, like, don't nobody have time. But anyway, despite the fact that she was saying no because she doesn't know if she can trust Martell like that, it's just like, it was too much stuff that went down. But the fact that you came at my family, it's still a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow. So in her mind, she's like, it's a hard no for me right now. Like, I don't know about all that. And, they worked well together. She basically was like, where you lack, he, picks up the slack. Like, what you don't have, he has, and all this other stuff. But no, it's not going to work out. Like, it's just too much. Because they were talking like that cash money. Him and Melody. It was a lot. And so ultimately he was like, it is what it is, because she is the majority shareholder. And nobody has time for your family to possibly suffer behind this. Even though they do have several streams of income, it's just like, nah, it's too much going on. Well, basically, so at least right now, she's saying right now, I'm not open to allowing Martell to buy back into Scout. Well, we ended up seeing Melody and Destiny link up for coffee, breakfast, or whatever. And um, not long after that, it got into a receipts match where Destiny was like, "You have not been available," and all this other stuff. And so she was like, "What are you talking about? Like, you're trying to make it seem like I haven't been around and all this." She started pulling receipts, talking about some, I reached out to you, and sometimes you don't respond, other times you do respond. But then she was just like, I didn't say that. She was like, these are the messages right here. I have no reason to fake these messages. It went left. And, Destiny was just like, look, I just want to know, did you tell your friend that I met through you that you didn't want her to have anything to do with me? Because I feel like I got blacklisted in a sense. I feel like I got blackballed. I feel like these people don't want to work with me, and they talking about, oh, I just want to pause the situation that we were going to have going on, which was going to be major for her, and now she doesn't have anything pretty much coming in like that. And she was like, no, I did not talk to anyone and tell them to do anything. So what are you talking about? I don't know if any of y'all saw it, but yesterday Melody went live, and the woman who she's talking about was on live. I actually caught part of the live before I went to sleep, because I was like, why is it when I'm not in a zen place, I'm in pain and I'm sleepy, all this going on? So, the little part, like the 5 minutes that I did catch, 5 to 7 minutes that I did catch, Melody was basically questioning the woman and was like, yeah, we're friends or whatever, but did I ever at any time say to you, do not do business with her or anyone else? And so the woman was basically like, no. Like, and I was like, oh gosh, it's a lot. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, she was just like, I don't understand why you trying to make it seem like all of these receipts were had, but here are the receipts right here. And you texted me, you still have the same messages that I have that came from your phone. So then, of course, the conversation came up again about how she was talking to the enemy. Then Melody went off and was like, that's my ops. Like, why would you be talking to my ops? Like, ain't nobody got time for this. So it was just a lot. Like, she kept getting loud. I was like, oh my gosh. Then the conversation came up about, why is it that you would talk to my ex like that? But you know that Destiny and Martell were friends before they were. But at the same time, it's like she was kind of like, that's not what I said. Martell told me that y'all talk all the time. And Martell was probably being messy in that moment if that conversation did happen or if that statement was made. And it just is what it is. Destiny said that Melody has always been put first, and when other people basically are in need of a friend, she's not there. So I'm just like, child, it's a mess. I don't know. Destiny looked like she did not have it together this episode. But like when she's on Instagram, everybody was like, oh, Melody lied. Melody tried you, whatever, whatever. And so Carlos King even got down in Destiny's comments and said something about, he was like, child, do I need to go live today? There was so many. I was like, I'm going to bed. I politely said, nope, I'm going to bed. It's too much going on. Because I saw when Melody went live, and I think it was crazy because I think Destiny's Instagram messages popped up. And y'all, I am subscribed to so many people. So I was like, oh, this was just the perfect timing. This just popped up because I can scroll for a whole hour nonstop. And I would not even get to half of the people that I am subscribed to. Like I follow on Instagram. And her stuff popped up. And then I saw Melody and went live. I was like, what in the world is going on? But yeah, it's not going well. And it's just to the point where she's like, look, Melody was going to get up and leave like she normally does. And next week we are going to see Kiki and her aunt get into it. It's finna be some foolishness. Anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm going to try to do a Married Man Side Heifer Saga, and then I'm gonna go on about my business. That's me somewhat making up for yesterday. All right. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Give this video a thumbs up. Bye, y'all.